Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to the cycling tourism session. We're very happy to host you today for 50 minutes dedicated to cycling tourism. This session has been organized by ADFC together with the European Cyclists Federation. We will have three different moments during this session. We will start with a keynote about cycling tourism in Germany. Then we will have a longer roundtable dedicated to Bike+train. We think that it's a hot train. And then we will finish with the data and trends about cycling tourism in Europe. So, yeah, let's start. Christian, would you like to take the stage and introduce cycling tourism in Germany?
Yeah, thank you, Agathe. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Christian Tänzler, and I'm in the board of the German Cycling Association. Somebody told me it's the biggest cycling association in the world. I don't know if this is still right, but we are strong, and we need to be strong in these times. And I would like to give you a little inspiration about cycling tourism and what cycling tourism means for different aspects. Yeah, thank you so much. They call it the various advantages of cycling tourism. Yes, there are some, indeed there are some advantages. First of all, I would give you a little bit a brief situation. How the situation is, bicycle tourism is a dynamically growing and crisis-resistant market that offers growth potential. That's, to be honest, not my sentence. Somebody very smart wrote it, and I said, it must be true. What you have seen after Corona and during Corona, I think we resisted Corona while cycling very good. But now, the first chart with facts I show you, you will think, what is the guy talking about growing cycling tourism? And he tells us in Germany we have less cycling trips with 3+ overnights. This is a classical cycling tourism, what we do with the backpacks or panniers on our bicycles. It's going down? Yes. Because I think, and this is, I of course give you not only the fact, I also give you the reasons for it. Because I think we have to rethink cycling tourism. It has changed also, not only the behavior, our behavior with each other, the political behavior right now, also cycling tourism has changed. And what is our potential for the future is, for example, the number of day trips. And don't tell me day trips are not tourism. It's a kind of tourism. It's very much undervalued, I think. Important sentence today. The number of day trips continues to increase. This is, for some of our regions, very, very important. I will come to this back later. And the second is cycling, while cycling grows when people are making holidays. And these are also, again, not the typical cycling tourists you might have in your mind, yeah, with all these nice colored shirts and the special shoes with SPD clicks and so on. I'm talking about everybody who's cycling while he's making holidays, vacation. And those are a lot. I don't know if you have seen the last numbers. The average duration of a holiday is 13 days. And if you look at the chart, during 6 days, people are using bicycle in the holidays. If they are not cycling tourists, I don't know what they are, but they are a kind of. And I think we have to focus a little bit more on this people, because it is an undervalued and maybe an underestimated target group. But, of course, I want to tell you what makes cycling tourism so important. It is, for me, and especially the people who are not the cycling enthusiasts, the cyclists who cycle in their holidays, this is the key for cycling in your daily life. If you have good experience in holidays with a bicycle, you might cycle at home a little bit more. And, of course, it fosters mutual understanding. This is very important in our world right now. If you have changed perspective, yeah, you know how the other on the road are thinking. This is for me very important. And of course, the active mobility, health is a big subject in future. Health, I think this is what we are going to talk about a lot more in future. We are getting older, we are getting more healthy. Anyway, quality of everything is the success of the success is the quality, is the key of that. And last but not least, I'm already a little bit late, I see. Last but not least, I see the economic impact of cycling tourism, especially for regions, is very important. I'm coming from a city, I'm coming from the city of Berlin, and of course, cycling tourism, my colleagues always say, oh, come on, cycling tourism. People are coming for culture, for nightlife in Berlin, for food maybe, but not for cycling. I think they're wrong. Don't tell them that I've said this here on the panel. And to get a little bit more in details about the economy of cycling tourism, I should have mentioned this, or I ask you for your estimation, but spending per person on a daily cycling trip, how much do people spend? 130 euros for short trips and 117 euro for a longer trip, plus one. We have counted it together. I hope the numbers are impressive. So we have an impact of cycling tourism. Everybody is talking about deals and money. Yeah, okay, let's talk about deals and money. We have 14 to 15 billion. I'm talking about Germany, yeah? I'm not talking about Europe as a whole world. I'm not talking about America. 14 to 15 billion euros spent on day trips. 2 to 3 billion euro spent for short cycling trips, and extra 6 to 7 billion euros, I would like to have it, for cycling trips with more than 3 days. I think these numbers is also very important for many people here who has a discussion, how important is cycling tourism in my region? Yeah? It brings money, it brings good image, and of course, it brings people to work, and nice work. So the key of all is the 5 reasons for cycling, longer cycling trips. We come back to the beginning. Yeah, I know. I see your face. Some see more of the people and places. This is obvious, I think. Be active on holiday. Yeah, I'd mentioned it before. Explore routes only accessible by bike. Nice experience, nice landscapes to explore. Environment friendly. I think this topic was here on the stage already. It's very important, and do something for the health. I mentioned it. But the key, to be honest, the key to everything is quality. And now this is the promotion part of the ADFC, the German National Cycling Association. Quality means you have to have a good standard, and the ADFC is taking care of. There's a man, I'm pointing out Michael, he's the man of the quality of our quality regions and the quality routes in Germany, and we have 46 of quality routes. I'm not going to go more into details, but last thing, no, I think I skipped this because I tried to get a link to the next subject, and we are talking about transportation. And transportation, to get to your destination, you can take the car, I wouldn't do it. You can take the airplane, okay, but most of the people like to do it by train. And talking about Germany, the German rail has not the best image anymore since our last Euro soccer contest. There was some problems at all. And the problem with the transportation of bicycle is a big problem. And I think we have to work on this. Our new government, or the next government, will spend a lot of money in infrastructure. And I hope they will spend a lot of money for infrastructure for cycling. That's the last chart. You can read it. I'm not talking anymore. And hand over to you again, Agathe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
No, you are the one.
Thank you, Christian, for the quick start on cycle tourism in Germany. And I also welcome with me on the podium Simone Burster from the Danube Bureau, Lisbeth van der Broek from Visit Wallonia and Flanders. Sorry. And Barbara Buchholz from Visit Visit Flanders. No, Wallonia. So now I got it right. But I've got the names in a different direction. You already met Agathe Dubon from the ECF and Christian Tänzler from the ADFC. And as we are talking about public transport and cycling in the next couple of minutes, I'd just like to have a quick start with you and ask you to state your connection, your personal and your organization's connection for cycling and public transportation.
Well, hello everyone, I'm Agathe Dibon, EuroVelo and Cycling Tourism Director for the European Cyclists Federation. We are based in Brussels and we are the civil voice of cycling movements in Europe and beyond Europe as well. So my connection is how to provide train services available for cyclists. In short, I will come back to that later.
Of course you will. And what's the ADFC's connection, Christian?
I would say not much connection to trains anymore. No, I'm joking because we are, because we are in a very special time right now. I mentioned it just on my short presentation because we have a switch in our country from cycling friendly to car friendly again. We are making a rollback, and this is our connection to, I wouldn't say fight, but to work for better conditions for public transportation for bicycles.
Okay, that's a huge challenge, I guess.
Yes.
And for you, Simone?
Yeah, my name is Simone Burster. I'm working for the Danube office Ulm-Neu-Ulm, and we dedicate our work to transnational projects within the Danube region, and we focus on the topic of sustainable mobility, especially in the tourism sector. And at the moment, we are part of a big consortium of project partners in the Interreg EU-funded project Active to Public Transport, and the name says it. Here in the project, we combine active mobility, like walking and cycling, with public transport, focusing mainly on buses and trains. And the idea of the project is to interconnect and connect it better, to improve multimodality there, with the overall aim to reduce CO2 emissions.
Okay, thanks a lot. And Lisbeth, what's the take in Wallonia?
Flanders.
So I still got 34 minutes to get it right.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Lisbeth van der Broek. I'm from Flanders. And my connection to cycling, I'm Belgian, so apparently cycling should be in my blood or in my DNA. A few decades ago, it was more the case than nowadays, but that's another topic. And I'm working for the DMO Visit Flanders. And cycling is one of the 4 most important themes or topics we have for promoting the destination. So it's my day-to-day business to promote Flanders as a touristical destination for cyclists. And of course, we want to be a sustainable destination, so we try to persuade the visitors to take the train and the bike as much as possible. But afterwards we will talk more about that.
Yes. And Barbara, what's your take?
Yeah, hello. I'm Barbara Buchholz from Visit Wallonia, as we all heard. So it's the southern part of Belgium, the French-speaking part of Belgium. And as for Flanders, for us, the cycling tourism is a very important pillar in our communication on the German market. And as we heard from Christian, it's really important to be able to bring your bike to the destination where you want to go, traveling by bike, or where you want to go bike tours, and then to get back again. So obviously it is very important, and this is our connection also to multimodality. And while I also have a personal connection, because I love the combination of bike and train, both privately and when I'm on business trips, for example. So.
Okay, to have a personal impact on a question is always a good thing. So Agat, you started with the explanation what the ECF is doing, and we were talking about a lot of taking bikes on trains in the next minutes. So why it is an important topic for the development of cycle tourism and for the ECF to focus on this panel?
Yeah, as Christian has been showing before, cycling is popular in general. So people will cycle during their holidays or maybe go on cycling holidays. But then how do you reach your destination? As a regular tourist, you will just say, okay, I would like to go to that region. I would like to discover that region. For a cycling tourist, the challenge is how do I reach my destination with a bike? And if you don't have train connections, you will not be able to do it. So as a cycling tourist myself, I started just to check train connections, the one accepting bikes, to choose my destination. So that's why we really think that there's huge potential for bike carriage. I mean, cycling tourists want to reach their destination with the train, but then they need to be able to transport their bike in the train. So that's the very simple reason. And also because we consider as ECF, but I hope we are not the only one, that train and bike are just the perfect match. That's how you can expand the power, the reachability of cycling. And then cycling is just the last mile ideal partner of the train. So it's a perfect match for rail operators, but also for cycling destinations.
Yeah, so I get a sense that it's a sort of a marketing advantage for destinations if you have a good combination on taking your bike on a train to their destination. So as you have a quite good overview in the ECF on the European landscape of public transportation and bikes, what is the current situation for train in combination with European rail services and with the taking your bike on a train situation?
Well, there's two aspects on that, and I'll try to be brief, but first, the regulation. It is important to know the policy framework where we are, and the second one is the current state of the rail operators' offers. First, about the framework, so the European regulation, there has been an update of the EU rail passengers' right and obligation. Sorry, it's very political, administrative, but that's important. That's the EU regulation about rail transport. This was adopted back in 2023, and now there is a mandatory minimum of 4 spaces for bicycles in new and refurbished trains. So that's an evolution. It's not enough. 4 spaces is not enough, but at least it's in the regulation, and the implementation is planned for June 2025. So starting this year, there will be this mandatory obligation. Then we've seen some rail companies and some national regulation being more ambitious than the European one, and we really push for that. Minimum 8 spaces would be ideal. And then for the current situation in terms of rail offers, well, bike carriage is the most important aspect, but it's not enough. It's also how train station will be accessible for cyclists. Are there any bike rental services available? Are there any bike parking offers? Is it easy to find information about bike reservation online? Different languages, all of that, that's a full package. Yeah. So we've been assessing different rail operators in Europe in a study, Cyclists Love Trains, back in 2021. We've been assessing around 70 rail operators and how cycling friendly they are. The answer, in short, they are not cycling friendly. And some of them not at all. 20% of the rail operators were not providing any possibility for transporting a non-dismantled, non-folding bike in the train. So we are renewing this study. It will be published later this year, and we've seen already progress. And maybe just mentioning the top offers, some countries are really topping it and showing the way, even if there is room for improvement. Belgium is one of them. There was already good conditions, and since 2021, there has been huge improvement. So it's not enough to be on top. It's really a long-term vision, and that requires strategy and governance. Rail operators should be convinced that cyclists matter.
Yeah, and once you publish the study, I think it will be available on the ECF's website.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So Simone, you are responsible for the Active to Public Transport project in the Donau region. You recently conducted also an interesting study about customer needs and also regarding the combination of cycling, holidays, and public transport. Can you share the key facts or the results of it, please.
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to share that. It's actually one activity within that active to public transport project, which has a duration of 2.5 years. So we do a lot of activities in the whole topic of connecting active to public transport. And like one of our main activities was to conduct that survey. And we got support from the ECF, and together with them we developed a survey and implemented it, and we had like more than 5,000 respondences on our online survey. And yeah, some of the things have already been said, so it really supports what the actual problems or need for improvements are, were also shown within our study. So first thing was really positive, because 96% of the respondents said they would go on a cycling holiday again. So for European cycling tourism, and especially for the Danube region, that's like a great result, because it shows the huge potential cycling tourism has, especially in the Danube region, as it you can go off the beaten track more in those regions, and especially those countries. So it really shows the potential, first of all. And overall, it scored like 4.6 out of overall 5 scoring points in overall satisfaction with the cycling holiday. So starting from that, it was really great. And when we look then on the public transport, we see some, really needs for improvement, or there's, more potential to grow there, because the overall satisfaction was only like 3.3 out of 5 with using public transport. And our participants showed that like 35 of the overall cycling tourists took the train during their holiday, or while to get there or getting back. So also we can see that there's a potential, but the overall satisfaction wasn't that great. So there's, first of all, like need for, we heard it before, we need space for the bike, so people can actually bring their bike on the train, because usually they bring their own, like they wouldn't rent it at the destination, so they bring it from home. So this is a really important part. And second of all, we need the information, like it needs to be transparent, and also like with the language, you should be able to find the information, and also it is important to, forgot the third part, but I think it's coming back to me. Accessibility, of course, as well. So having the space, having the information, and also having the accessibility for the cycling tourists to get on the train and have the combination of cycling and public transport. So that was like one part, and overall recommendation is, first of all, also to improve the cycling infrastructure in the different countries. So that's the main part, to actually encourage tourists to go there. And then, as I said, like improving the connection for the multimodality and for public transport, especially, and also the information making available for the tourists, so that they can plan their trip, not even before, but especially when they're on the trip, that they find their information.
Yeah, and did you find, or did you conclude with any recommendations regarding the improvement of bicycles on trains?
We made like some general improvements, as I said, that it needs to be improvements within infrastructure. There needs to be improvement in communication, so that people can actually access the information, and making spaces for bikes. Like as we heard, like you can bring your bike, but there's not enough space, and it's sometimes it's complicated, and you can't book in advance, and you're not, if it's peak time, you're even not allowed to go on the bike with the bike on the train. And therefore it's really important to focus on that to improve the multimodality.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now to the ADFC, the cycle travel studies, as what you quoted before, shows that many cyclists, so it's about 40%, use the train to get to their holiday destination. That shows that there's quite an importance to be able to put your bike on a train. In your opinion, is the current offer for the bicycle transport in Germany, is it sufficient to meet the needs of the cyclists?
You want a clear answer? No.
Okay, so then the next question.
No, I mean, if I think a little bit back, and ADFC is fighting for 40 years for better conditions for packing your bicycle in the train, and how long we need, how many years I really switched it off to get bicycles in the ICE, in the fast trains in our country. I wouldn't say we are the fastest on the continent with this. So first of all, we need space. Yeah, you mentioned it. We need space in the trains. Of course, we need, and this is really very, very deep factor, the regulations inside of Germany. I'm not talking about Italy, whatever, where you want to go, like me in the 3 weeks. There are so many different regulations and tariffs. Try to book. It's very easy in Germany because we have the Deutschland ticket, which is a ticket for public transportation for regional trains. Yeah, it's for persons, but not for bicycles. So you know how to travel because you have your Deutschland card very easily, but you don't know. In best example is Ulm and Neu-Ulm. In Ulm, it's Baden-Württemberg, the county of Baden-Württemberg. It's free. You can take your bicycles for free. If you go on the other side of the river Danube, you're in Neu-Ulm. Yeah? Neu-Ulm is Bavaria, and you have to pay for a bicycle. And you don't even have you have only 1 day ticket. Yeah? So you cross not a border, you are not crossing a wall. I'm coming from Berlin. No, you're crossing a river, and you have a different kind of a tariff. That's crazy. We are living, we're living in the 21st century, and we are building walls again. Other subject is accessibility. I'm talking about people who are maybe a little bit disabled, but I also talk about people who are getting older and have this 25, 30 kilo mountain e-bike, or I'm talking about cargo bikes, and so on and so on. Very important. And a good information about the capacity of places in the trains. I'm not talking about ICE, but I'm talking about the regional trains, how much capacity there is. That shouldn't be a problem in the age of digitalization, but it is.
Okay. So as we're on a green stage, and green is the color of hope, I'm looking to Belgium now. There might be a bit of hope. So Barbara, can you tell us a bit, for those who aren't so familiar with cycling tourism in Belgium, what's the offer in Wallonia look like?
Yeah, sure. So there I would like to mention the EuroVelo. This is a really great network, a unique network of greenways we have. It's about 1,500 kilometers of greenways, mainly on former railway lines and towpaths, supplemented by around 200 kilometers of connecting paths. So it's really a network overall our region. And then we have also the numbered node network in several regions, which is adding as well. So this is a really great network to discover our country. Then we have also some EuroVelos crossing Wallonia, the EuroVelo 3 and 19, I think.
5 also.
5, yeah, 5, so 3, yeah. And then we have a label, a bit like in Germany, the Bed and Bike. It's called Bienvenue Vélo. It's for, well, it identifies accommodations and restaurants and sites, etc., as bike-friendly. Yeah, so this is our main offer.
Yeah, and how is the situation if you want to take your bike on a train in Belgium? So is it just as complicated as Christian just told us, or is it something better?
No, for once this is something we share. So it's really, the regulation applies for the whole country, for Wallonia, for Flanders, for the region of Brussels. And I think it's quite uncomplicated because generally you can take your bike on all Belgian trains. You don't need to reserve in advance. You can purchase the tickets, which is, I think, at the moment €4, online on the website. The website is in French, in German, in English as well, so several languages. In Dutch, yeah, sure, in Dutch. Sorry. Well,
obviously it is.
So yeah, and there's an app where you can purchase the tickets as well. And then they have a Bike+train, it's called. It's a travel planner implemented in the website, which shows you, you can plan your route there, so you can choose the routes you want to take with which train. You can see the accessibility in the stations, how good it is to reach the platforms. Then there are, I think this is quite new, the situation of the bike carriages on the platforms is displayed on information boards on the platforms. And then, as we talked about, to put the secure bike parking, so the National Belgian Railway Service is investing as well in secure parking solutions, as there's 1 in 5 commuters who arrive at the station with a bike and want to leave it there. So this, gives us hope.
Yeah, and want to find it back. No?
Want to have it and I want to have it back afterwards. Yeah, sure. It would be great.
Yeah. And Lisbeth, what's the overall cycling offer we can experience in Flandern?
We have a lot. As I said, cycling is in our DNA, and we divide between sportive cycling and recreational cycling. If we talk about sportive cycling, it's, of course, I think everybody knows the Ronde van Vlaanderen and the Tour of Flanders. And you can also come to Flanders, not only at the beginning of April when the Tour of Flanders takes place, but if you're a fanatic cyclist, you can come to Flanders and discover the little mountains we have. Yeah, we're a flat country, but still we have a lot of streets with cobblestones, and you can ride the Flandria Challenge. You can ride all these routes who are in the Tour of Flanders, and it's a little challenge, you get prizes. And if we talk about recreational biking, it's of course more important for the tourism. We have a whole lot of routes. We have, if you come for a city trip, we have Flanders' finest routes. It's a whole bunch of cycling routes connecting cities. But also according to themes, you can have a tour visiting some breweries, or you can bike along the coast, take the coast tram if you had too many beers to go back. So we have a lot of Flanders' finest routes, and it's very important that you can start at a railway station, take a tour and go back with a train to another city or back to the starting point. And then we have another offer for tourists who want to come more days, not only for a city trip, but they really come for cycling. And it's called the iconic routes, and there we have nine iconic routes. And the biggest one is the Flanders route, and it's, I think, almost 300 kilometers. For a little country, it's long, so you can really bike a few days. And also there we try to make it sustainable and see that you can really have a starting point at a station and also the ending point at a station.
Okay, so really quite good infrastructure you just described. I think that this would mean an economic impact for the whole country of Belgium coming from cycling tourism. Can you explain something on that?
Yeah, of course. So cycling is was already popular in Belgium, but it's getting even more popular. And we're not talking only about sports, but also really cycling as a means of mobility. We see it everywhere. E-bikes are being sold more, gravel bikes too. And cycling, or the cycling sector, it's of course more than cycling tourism. You also have cycling events, you have accessories, you have shared bikes, you have a whole cycling sector. It was in 22 in Belgium 1 billion euros. It's not so much as in Germany, but we are a little country, but still. And I think 17,000 people working, FTEs working in the cycling sector. But if we're talking about cycling tourism, we divide between day tourists and tourists who come for 2-3 days. we have the last figures also from 22, and there we take the amount of cycling or cycle routes being driven. And in Wallonia and Flanders, we get the statistics from the provinces. It's 20 million cycle routes per year. And if we estimate, and it's a very cautious estimation, that 5% stay longer than 1 day, 3 days, then we have approximately an economic impact of 214 million euros a year and 3,360 FTE people working in the cycling tourism. So
I think
that's
these are quite impressive numbers for a country,
yes.
for a country in the size of Belgium. Yeah. So I think I gave you a little bit of hope in the audience. And now we'll try to look a bit into the future. And I start with Agathe again. What are the main requests of the ECF to improve bicycle transportation on trains for tourism purposes?
So yeah, we've seen a big increase in cycling tourism, the attractivity, but also the usage after COVID. It was just answering also society requests and demands, more nature, more sustainability. But now the question is, how do we sustain this growth, but also how do we help it increase even more? There's so much potential to grow more. So we are convinced that mixing cycling and trains is a key to have cycling tourism growing in general. And for that to happen, we have two main type of requests. For rail operators, on one side, we would need rail operators to consider cyclists as an opportunity rather than a threat and a problem to solve. And we see good signs for that. Next week, I will go to the International Railway Union meeting, invited to present the good results of cycling and train. So already from the rail operators, there is an interest, and there are good examples to follow. So we really hope that with the implementation of the regulation and also more action to be taken, it will grow. So more for rail operators, more capacity for bicycle on trains, better communication, more information online to facilitate booking also, and also plan the train station so that they are welcoming for cycling. That's for the rail operators. But we also think that there is huge potential for destinations to take advantage of bike and train, creating products, connecting different train stations, for example, just considering the current state, right? There are some offers, it's not perfect, but you can build also cycling offers connected to it and promote more accessibility cycling with mixing with the train in general.
Okay, thank you. Simone, we just heard from Christian the funny thing between Ulm and Neu-Ulm being located in two different federal states, and Germany even have the same city's name. So what, in your experience, are the biggest challenges when it comes to cross-border things in cyclotourism and cyclotourism connected to public transport?
Yeah, it's actually a funny example and absolutely true, because you basically walk just over a bridge from Ulm to Neu-Ulm, so you can't even feel that you crossing federal borders, and it's so complicated to actually, get your ticket and get the information and how to bring your bike, and you have different regulations within 1 minute. So that small example shows how complicated it is, like especially in Germany, having those many different operators, having different solutions for weekends and different times of the day, making it very complicated. So what we have with the Deutschland ticket is amazing, like that you can travel easily with that one ticket coming from Ulm, using here in Berlin like all the public transport, but it always gets complicated when you have the tourism aspect on bringing your own bike. Like we heard great examples from Flanders in Belgium, and the problem is, or the difficulties is the cross-border aspect, that first of all, it's very difficult to find the information, like even with that example, Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, like I researched it in advance again, and it's crazy to find that information in German and then in English. So how would tourists like know what to do? And of course, if you scale that up to different countries, it gets more complicated. At the moment, when you want to go, for example, like I want to go to Romania, I can't even buy my train ticket the whole way through. So I get the part to Austria, and there I can get it. But like this is very complicated, just using the one the one transport mode, like just the train. So the problem is that we have it so complex throughout the borders, so we really need more simplicity in that regard. And yeah, so that we can connect Europe in that way, not only with bike and train, and I think we should start with the trains first of all, and then having the vision of bringing it together.
Okay, thanks a lot. Christian, you already talked about the Deutschlandticket being a good thing for public transport if you go without a bike in Germany, and you already pointed out that it didn't make it any easier if you want to take your bike with it. So can you maybe sum up again what's your assessment from the perspective from cycling tourists with the Deutschlandticket? Or what are the demands from the ADFC?
I have a dream.
Okay.
You know, and the dream has two different parts. The first part is really that there can be a kind of model Swift that everything brings together. So you have your ticket, your Deutschland ticket or whatever, and it's more or less included that your bicycle, it's not a Brompton, it's not a folding bike, your normal bicycle can travel with you easily over borders. And I'm talking not only about borders in our states, but over borders. That should be not a vision or a dream, that should become true, first of all. Second is, I mean, we have so many beautiful and high quality regions and bicycle trails in Germany. It shouldn't be a problem to bring the people there by public transportation. And the third thing is, and this is my dream. Yesterday we had a visitor at our booth of ADFC, and she was the minister for economics. But she introduced herself as, I'm the cycle minister of, I don't name the county, the federal county, but this for me shows exactly which importance cycling-friendly infrastructure transportation should have in the future.
Okay. Barbara and Lisbeth, if you look from a Belgian perspective to Germany, is there anything that you can recommend what we in Germany can learn from Belgium?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say we talked about that, but to have the same regulation, to have the same ticket system, to have the same information for every region for taking your bike on the train. This is one thing I think we could learn in Germany. And then I see another thing, because when I'm traveling with my bike in Belgium, I see there's usually railway staff on the platforms who can give you a hand if sometimes it's maybe not so easy to board the carriage with your loaded bike or something. And they always are very helpful. And then I think the simple fact to have staff who is helpful is something we could learn as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. So as a closing question, I would like you, all of you, to ask for your vision for cycling and multimodality, respectively, bike transportation on trains. And as I have a watch on the clock, just 3 words for everybody.
Only 3 words. Well, I think from my perspective, being able to cross Europe with a bike on the train is my vision and my dream. And hopefully, I mean, it is achievable, I think. Yeah.
I was quicker already.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah. And I can add on to Agathe, same vision, and having like the one ticket with real-time information, booked it online, and have everything in one app.
Okay, thanks. Lisbeth.
For me, the one important word would be inclusion. We have a big offer, we have everything, you can book everywhere, everything. But inclusion is, I think, very important for the future. That everybody can take the bike on the train and bike on the routes, the wonderful routes we have.
Yeah, I had the same vision of a sort of European, but including UK platform, sort of platform for Bike+train network. So yeah, with a like where you can reserve, where you can find the routes, etc. And yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you for good discussion, and the closing words are for Agathe to take.
Yeah, well, I have the very difficult task to switch from this roundtable discussion about Bike+train and to provide some global data about cycling tourism. I have 3 minutes, so excuse me in advance, I will be very brief, but all informations are online. And actually, most of the information here echoes some of the discussion we had. So first, about cycling tourism trends in Europe for 2025. This is us saying EuroVelo, European Cyclists Federation, our vision for the priorities of the year. Bringing cycling as a top contributor to tourism climate actions. We need to have cycling as a perfect solution to reduce the impact, the environmental impact of tourism in general. Multimodality is the second trend, we mentioned it. We want also cycling to be more inclusive for all. It really echoes what Lisbeth was just saying. Higher quality, which is something we share with ADFC, one of our dear member at ECF. And we need to have a cycling tourism community growing, because cycling is inspirational, and the bigger the community will be, I mean, probably the best advocates for cycling tourism are the users themselves to convince their partners. Now, a quick turn to the state of cycling tour operators industry. There's a lot of tourism industry players also in ITB. What do we know about the cycling tour operator industry? There has been a study launched last year by us, ECF, together with Adventure Travel Trade Association and Cycle Summit. We collected around 245 answers, and the main findings is that the offer of cycling tour operators is very diverse. We collected more than 60 destinations as top destination for cycling tour operators. We noticed also that the cycling market is growing, and that there are a couple of challenges, such as inflation and to market new customers, because the average customers are getting older, and some challenge also is the lack of offers in terms of accommodation. We've managed to portray the typical European customer of cycling tour operators and the typical non-European customer. I will not go into detail, everything is accessible online. And in terms of destination, interestingly, Italy is on top of cycling tour operator destination, followed by France and Germany. And in terms of source market, the first is USA, then Germany and the UK. I'm going through different numbers because it's good also to provide an overview. This is quite interesting in terms of usage of EuroVelo. So here it's not only about tourism, it's about bike counts. There are a number of automatic counters placed on cycling infrastructure. And here we have collected the data about EuroVelo counters only. The study is not, the report, sorry, is not online yet, but it will be in a few weeks. We've counted more than 500 bike counters on EuroVelo routes, and we aggregated all the data to have an overview of what's happening in Europe. Interestingly, is that when we compare 2024 with 2023, you see, it's stable. So we have a stable trend of bike usage. Why? Because when you look back before COVID, 2019, then we have an increase of 10%. So we are in a phase where we stabilize the growth compared to the year before, but we see a big increase before COVID time. The challenge now is how to make it grow even more. We see that we've been comparing also the different usage during the week, in the weekend and on the weekdays. So comparison between 2024 and 2023, we see an increase in weekends, but not in weekdays. Maybe weather also may play a big role in that, and probably most of the usage is also for daily mobility and not necessarily tourism. We see also that on EuroVelo counters, there is 13 more time bike counts in urban counters than rural counters, meaning also that the usage on EuroVelo route is mainly by the local. But still, in rural areas, the average amount of bike counts is 50,000. So in a rural area, on a cycle route, you have already 50,000 bike counts, which shows also how relevant it is to build cycling infrastructure, including in rural areas. And now closing with the economic impact of cycling tourism, because it's all about money, you know. What is interesting is that we've seen, so here you see a couple of data. The European estimation of economic impact of cycling tourism is old, from 2012, 44 billion euro estimated for cycling tourism. We see updated related data from other countries that are very much promising. And maybe one information that is useful for you is that cycling tourists spend in average more than regular tourists. And why that? Because you are just transporting all your life with you on your bike. You need accommodation, you need food on the way. So that's why also cycling tourists are so important. And in terms of cycling-friendly services, we estimated more than 18,000 SMEs being cycling-friendly certified in Europe, which shows also the potential. If you want to learn more about cycling tourism, I invite you to the EuroVelo and Cycling Tourism Conference, the conference we organize every year. It will happen in Hungary, in Balaton Lake, later in September. Very nice location for cycling tourism as well. And we just opened a call for abstracts on the theme Cycling Towards a Sustainable Future. I made it on time almost.
Wow.
Thank you very much to all the speakers.